You guys probably think that every book I write is super easy to write, and it is the exact opposite. It doesn't actually get easy ever. It just gets a little bit easier, but I still keep screwing up this one thing every time I work on a book. The problem is not that I don't know how to do it, it's that I put my creativity last. When my husband needed surgery and work got really crazy, and then it was Christmas and there was a million things to do for the family, and we had Christmas here at our house, so I was cooking many meals for like 3 days straight. We had all the kids here and stuff. To do all that, take out the garbage and vacuum and do all of the things that my husband would normally do because he was laid up with a knee replacement, that just got super overwhelming. And I kept saying, I know I need to go back to my book. I know I need to do XYZ to my book. And I would find like 5 minutes here or 10 minutes there. And even though that's great for kind of making forward progress in your book, it's not great for digging deep, because when you're only writing for 10 minutes, you don't have enough time to really get deep into the character and get deep into what the book needs. It helps you move the book and the plot forward. It helps you start getting the scenes down on the page, but it doesn't give you that emotional depth. And that's the one thing I'm always missing. What I have to remember to do is basically what I tell you guys. I have to remember to take a breath, like literally right now, stop. Take a breath. The words don't have to be perfect. You just got to get them on the page. And that's the part that I struggle with the most. I'm a big perfectionist. I'm a little bit driven, as I'm sure you guys realize. And I don't like to, first of all, admit that I got anything wrong. And second of all, to actually do anything wrong. I really like to get it right the first time, which is the exact opposite of how the writing process works. Writing is more about creating and then tearing it apart and then creating it again and tearing it apart again, creating one more time. Yeah, I screw up my books just like you guys do. And yeah, I have to remind myself to put in the emotional depth because I forget it all the time. I'll just be writing along and think, this is a great scene. Look at how much action I have here. And realize when I get to the end that there just feels like something off. And if I don't set aside that time to really dig in deep and work on the book, I can't figure out what that is because I'm not allowing my brain to just think. And that thinking space is the thing that I think a lot of us give ourselves the least. I know I fill those empty hours, whenever I don't have something to do with like TikTok or TV or reading or something else. And so my brain rarely gets time to just think. But lately, one of the good things about my husband having the surgery is that he's got to walk every day for 10 to 20 minutes. And every day for 10 to 20 minutes, we go outside and we don't talk a whole lot because really he's just concentrating on balance and getting down, and I'm timing how long he's walking. But my brain is allowed the room to start thinking. And I can feel these little neurons just connecting, saying, oh, what if I did this with the book? Oh, what if I did that? This is the layer that is missing. It's that emotional connection, right, that we really need in our books. And I don't tend to put it in the first drafts, sometimes not even in the second drafts. A lot of times I'm layering that in the third, fourth, 50th draft. Once I have it, it's easy to maintain it, but to get it in there, whole other story. For instance, I just sold a book to HarperCollins a couple months ago, and I sold it on proposal. And while the proposal was strong, it wasn't strong enough. And HarperCollins, if you guys don't know, is huge on the emotional component in a book. That's a really big thing that they're always stressing every time. I've done 50 books for them. This is my 51st. You would think that I would get it by now, but no, I'm still doing it wrong. And so the editor came back to me and said, I really need you to put more emotion into this. And I thought, well, I've got a great emotional plot. I've got a dead friend and they're trying to figure out what happened and there's a stalker and all of this, but no, that wasn't what she was talking about. And I knew that. I talk to you guys about it all the time. I knew that what she really wanted was that layer of the character that is just emotional and deep and intimate and connectable to the reader. But when you're not writing regularly, it's super hard to do that. And I have not been writing regularly. I haven't been posting regularly here. I haven't been doing anything regularly. All those trips and my husband's surgery has just flipped my entire schedule upside down. I was out of the country for 3 weeks, and then it was Thanksgiving and I was not home then, and then my husband had surgery, and then it was Christmas, and I feel like I was just on another planet for a really long time. It was only a couple of months, but it still felt like years. And so I fell out of my writing habits. I fell out of my live stream habit. I fell out of my video habit here. I fell out of posting. I fell out of everything. And so diving back into the book, has been this sort of intermittent thing, which is really bad for the book. Because frankly, you can't get deep within yourself and thus deep within the character in 15 minutes. I mean, even a therapy session is an hour long, right? And it takes a lot of hours before you start realizing what's going on in your head and why and how to fix it. So in order to get that deep with the character, you got to spend time being quiet. You've got to spend time thinking about the book. You've got to spend time really digging in deep. So I have this book, I have a deadline, I have to make it because I've already committed in a contract. So I don't really have a choice. And so now I'm starting to panic. And I don't know about you guys, but panic does me no good. It makes me write faster, but without the depth that I need. So what I'm going to tell you guys, and what I'm going to tell myself, and I'm literally going to write this up and put it on my board in front of me, is to take a breath. Take a breath. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just got to get it on the page. You're never going to have a perfect book. You're never going to have a perfect page. And the more you pressure yourself to have perfection, the less perfect it will be. Because creativity doesn't come in a nice little, 10 by 10 box. Creativity is messy. It kind of goes all over the place. And you spew it out all on the page and then hopefully corral it all back in. The great thing is I have an editor over there at HarperCollins who will help me shape this book into what it needs to be. But I've got to give her something pretty darn close to ready to go. Editors today do not have the patience or the time, even with authors they've worked with a million times, to really shape the book over months and months and months. You get it in, you get it out, you move on to the next one. So I've got to put my best effort forward, get it off to my editor, and then keep moving forward on the book and on the other things that I'm working on. So basically what this is my commitment to you guys to say, hey, I'm a little panicked. I got to get this book done. And I hope you'll write it with me, that we can do our live streams almost every Friday because I really, really miss those. And that you guys can be there as I'm writing it and we can talk about all of the angst and pressure and all of that we go through with a book. And, you can tell I'm stressed. I gave myself bangs this weekend. So there's a whole lot going on in my head. Let's write together. Let's start January off correctly. I'm going to commit to getting up an hour earlier every single day going forward so that I can write more in the mornings. And if you guys would like me to kind of add in a live stream here and there, like not with a plan, just when I'm up and I have my act together and I can do a live stream, let me know in the comments because that way I'm not writing alone. I haven't really thought that through. I've barely, like I said, had time to think about anything. So my apologies if the channel's been a little slow, the posting has been slow, all of that. I've just been so swamped by life and trying to get that all back on track. And now I absolutely have to get it back on track because I have a book proposal due. Write with me this month and keep coming back to the channel and we'll figure this all out together. And don't forget, take a breath. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just got to put it on the page.